I'm going to read from the first chapter of the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk says, "How long, O Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen? Or cry out to you, violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrong? O Lord, are you not from everlasting? My God, my Holy One, we will not die." Now, Habakkuk is a prophet, and he's seeing everything go wrong in his society. He's seeing everything go wrong in his culture. He sees his nation not only declining morally and socially, but he sees a threat coming. He sees military threat coming. He sees just disaster. And he complains to God about it, but then he does something about it. Now, here's what I want you to see. First of all, it says, he says, "Why do you make me look on injustice? How long must I cry out to you and you do not listen?" So at this point, he's actually saying, everything seems to be going wrong and you don't seem to be doing anything right about it. And he even says, why am I fated to be here in the midst of such evil times? My father, my grandfather, things were so much better. Why me? So he's really crying out. But the other thing that he does, on the other hand, is at the same time, he says, "But my God, my Holy One, we will not die." So what I like about him, he's extraordinarily honest. In fact, one Old Testament commentator says that when Habakkuk says, "O Lord, are you not from everlasting?" There's an expert in Hebrew that says this is an insult. This is a way of saying, I thought you were infinite. I thought you were that you were infinitely good and wise. How could you be letting this happen? So it's an insult. So on the one hand, he is being incredibly realistic emotionally, but on the other hand, he says, "But my God, my Holy One, we will not die." I would like to put this in front of you. Habakkuk is so much more honest than most religious people are. Most religious people feel like, oh, I can't cry out like that. I can't lament. I can't express my anger and unhappiness to God. I've got to be really kind. I've got to really be respectful. He's more honest than most religious people, but he's way more faithful than a secular person. There's no indication that he's saying, well, I'm not going to trust a God like this. He says, no, my God, my Holy One, we will not die. And I suggest to you that in times like we're in right now, there needs to be an honesty. We can't just say, oh, the Lord's working in everything, and I'm sure he's doing good things here, and this is going to make us all stronger. No, let's admit there's tragedy, there's death, there's long-term hurt and pain. Let's be more emotionally realistic the way he is. But on the other hand, let there be no one saying, well, I just can't believe in a God like this. He is way too faithful for the secular. He's way too honest, I think, for the religious. But he is our model. And whenever he says, why do I have to see these awful times? It reminds me of Frodo in Lord of the Rings, who says to Gandalf, I wish it need not have happened in my time. Of course, all this tragedy. And of course, Gandalf says, so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. That's what Habakkuk is doing. That's what we should be doing.